Hello and welcome to episode 34 of the Ski Instructor Podcast. My name's Dave Burrows and I'm the director and owner of Snowpro Ski School based here in the Beau Soleil in Switzerland. Hope you're all well. Ski season has come to a close here in the Beau Soleil. The lift's shut on Sunday it's all gone very, very quiet around here. Switzerland's carrying on with its program of kind of trying to get back to normal after this whole COVID thing, and on Monday restaurants and bars are opening and you can sit outside in the freezing cold and have a coffee outside. Sporting activities are generally starting to open up as well, so signs of progress there from Switzerland after what has been frankly quite a difficult winter. So our although we've actually had quite a good winter. A lot of our clients are local and we ski with them. It's not like we're mega reliant on tourist skiers. But the actual on mountain experience, I think the mountains have missed a lot of people for certain subset of skiers where the lunch and everything is quite important to them. Sitting out in the sunshine and having something nice to eat is part of their skiing experience, and a lot of people have missed that, and a lot of people just, what we've had on the mountain this year are the mega keen skiers. We haven't had the people really who are coming for sort of more what you would say leisure, I don't think. There's something, I certainly remember a couple of days with the school, in January when it's minus 16 here in the Beau Soleil, and it was extremely tricky to keep groups of kids, warm when they were having to sit outside and eat a picnic and stuff, and that was they were quite difficult times this season, but we've done all right. Everyone's managed to get through a whole season, and that is something that I certainly wasn't really personally expecting. In November, when it all looked quite bleak here. I know that experience hasn't been the same for our colleagues in the other Alpine countries. So, certain regions of the US, certain regions of Canada, I know you've had some difficulties, the same for France, Italy, Austria, it's just not been normal. And I think really, given, my own personal view is that what the government's done there with leisure and skiing is just criminal. It's outrageous. You can't just shut down people's businesses like that, especially when it's outdoors, right? Never mind. It just winds me up that. But so the snow is still good actually. Like I did have the option to go to Verbier today, but I've arrived at that point in the season where I just don't want to put ski boots on anymore. Something of a sort of burnout. I've worked quite a lot this winter, and I just don't fancy it anymore. And it kind of, it's a weird feeling that I feel a bit guilty that I should be skiing, but actually the last thing I want to do is put boots on and go skiing. So I suppose I should listen to that intuition and maybe just knock it on the head for the season and then come back to it in July once the Saas-Fee Glacier opens. This week I have an interview for episode 34. I have an interview with Alessandro Cambon. Some of you may know Ali, lovely guy, and I took the opportunity to go to Villars and interview him at his place that looks out over the mountains on the Vaud side of Switzerland. Ali has previously has been working. I've known him since he was working at New Generation in Villars. Previously to that in Verbier. He's a lovely guy, BASI trainer, level 4, amazing skier. And we talk a little bit about that, but in this first half we mainly talk about pole vaulting, which we talk a bit about pole vaulting, which is Ali's other sport. We also talk about his sort of general, how he's got to where he is, and lastly we talk a little bit about the role that he's just taken on within an international school, and how that works. So enjoy this first half, and I will catch you in the middle part. I've got some correspondence. Alessandro Cambon, welcome to the Ski Instructor Podcast. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good. Welcome. Thank you for welcoming me to your place. I've said this before, and the in-person ones are always the best ones. And we've taken a while to set this up, but I've come to your place here in Gryon, just next to Villars, and your front room has like this enormous picture window that looks out onto what's that? The backside of Diablerie.
So that's the Mouvron,
Yeah,
and then on the right you've got the Dent du Midi.
yeah. Dent du Midi is my home mountain, so
Yeah.
you can see them from a different angle here. Really cool. And down into the valley, into Monte, and what's that? Show over there, maybe. Yeah. But beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful spot, and this is the kind of, if I was back living alone again, this is the kind of cabin in the woods kind of feel that I'd be after. Definitely. So I'm here. I've seen you around and about in Villa this season. I've seen you a few years previously, actually, because you've been up there doing BASI stuff and various other bits and pieces. But I know you've just stepped into a new role with one of the international schools up here, so I thought it would be an opportune time to have a chat with you. We'll come to the school stuff later on, but I think we always start on these podcasts, it's a bit repetitive, but we always start with like, how did you get into skiing? How did you get to these rarefied heights of, full cert, BASI trainer? What was your skiing journey? You start young, or how was it?
Yeah, so I started fairly young, but I started just as a tourist, let's say, as someone who didn't have the ambition to be a ski racer or ski instructor, nothing like that. So my path was pretty normal, let's say, up until 23, 24, that's where I started. Okay. So I started quite late. Before that, I actually did a bit of an unusual sport. I was a pole vaulter. So I did pole vault for a very long time, and then 3 years I was professional. In Italy, you need to join like a military force. So I was in the Air Force for 3 years doing that as my job, essentially.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Really?
Yeah.
Well, hang on. We're already going to tangent off then. You're going to have to tell me more about pole vaulting. Like, how do you even get into it? Like, because with the full pole vault, right, you're going up like 6.5 meters.
I wish I went up 6 meters.
I don't know what the record is.
Yeah.
Still a long way off the ground. But how do you even learn to hang on the pole? Like, how does it? What's the? Presumably, there's like a learning method.
Yeah, it's quite a long process to get to actually bend the pole and then use longer poles. But essentially, you start from wooden poles or bamboo, and then you learn the technique of taking off. And then at the beginning, they don't bend at all.
Right.
And then you make your run up a little bit longer. You hold the pole a bit higher, and then eventually there's that turning point where the pole starts to bend because of weight. And then the game there is just to try and use bigger poles, run faster, and hold the pole higher so that projects you a bit higher in the sky. So
wow.
It's a very repetitive, we're talking about repetition. It's a very repetitive sport, so there's a lot that goes into the technicality of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is it a question of, so the higher you go, is it a blend of speed and technique?
Yeah, so it's we train as sprinters, gymnasts, so there's a lot of gymnastics involved as well, controlling your body up in the air.
Spatially.
Exactly. Yeah. And then long jumpers as well, because there's the element of taking off the ground, so you've got all of that.
Wow.
But it's it's an amazing sport. It's a bit of a weird one, there's not that many people that do it.
Yes. That's incredible.
It's and I still love it. I still do it when I can. So
yeah.
I've got a little club here in Martigny actually I train with. I found them during lockdown last summer, and I started training with them, and it's brilliant. I love it. They're all young. They're all like 20 years younger than me, but I still really enjoy it.
Tell me about just before we jump back into skiing. Tell me about sprint training, because I'm really, really interested in that. One of the ways that I keep fit is a very loose term, because I'm kind of not as fit as I used to be by any means. Not like you, but I've always, for years, I've followed a method of kind of eating certain foods. So eating foods that don't agree, not eating foods that don't agree with me, within a fairly narrow corridor for foods. But the other bit that I would blend that with would be strength training.
Yeah.
And interval sprints.
Yeah.
And interval sprints are incredibly good for you.
Yeah.
Like they switch on a whole bunch of stuff. And for someone like me with a very short attention span for exercise, you can get your work, like, if you watch like real sprinters train, they don't do that much. They turn up, do a bit of stretching, they might do 3 or 4 full gas runs, and then they'll go home.
Yeah.
Like, it takes 20 minutes or something, 20 minutes the way I do it. But there is, I think you can get a huge amount of benefit, can't you, from kind of interval sprint and sprint training?
Yeah. So you're asking whether that then helps your skiing? Or
no, not necessarily. Just
fitness?
In general, is that how you train? Like, so the sprinting part of your training, presumably you weren't doing that much endurance stuff.
No, not at all.
It was all explosive.
It's all explosive and very little endurance. Actually, I hated endurance until getting a bit older. I think that's when people tend to turn a bit more into that. But there's a lot of sprinting. Interval training is an interesting one. Without going too technical, also because my knowledge is limited in the sense that I'm not. I used to have a coach and he would tell me what to do. I still train a little bit. I go more with the feeling and sensation of it, what I've done in the past. But interval training it's great because it develops a speed, but at the same time, interval depends how you do it. If you run slowly back, then you're actually developing a little bit of endurance in itself. So it's a good method of developing speed and a bit of endurance. So I definitely actually did it before meeting you this morning. I was up in the field doing a bit of training and I did exactly that.
Hill sprints. My God. Worst thing ever. No, so I would go, when I lived in Châtel, there was a football pitch there. And I would do 6 and 6. So it would be 6 half pitch sprints.
Right.
At 50%, walk back.
Yeah.
6 to warm up, and then the most I ever got to was 7, but it was 7 or 6 or 7 full 100% gas sprints.
Yeah.
50 or 60, half a football pitch basically. Walk back every time. Took about, like say, 20-25 minutes, but the effects that it gave you, like you were just buzzing for the rest of the day. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah,
and I think it's widely underused. You see so many people kind of flogging themselves up and down the hills here on bikes and stuff like that. And I just don't know whether for me, exercise. I'm happy to do it in that format.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
I think with pole vault it's quite specific in the sense that all you're trying to do is to run as fast as you can for a very short space. Yeah. So I think interval training is used quite a lot away from competition season, and then you just to build up resistance and get your body used to it. But then the more you get close to the competition, actually you do what you were saying earlier, sprinters just do maybe 4 full gas. Yeah. Then with a lot of resting, so that it's almost like refining a bit of Formula 1. You don't want to do too much, but very high quality.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
How long's the run up?
So full run up when I was younger, I could hold that. It was about 35-40 meters.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so 16-18 steps. Yeah.
Oh, that's quite a long way. Carrying a pole as well.
Carrying a pole, yeah. Now I'll do 12, so it's about 25 meters. Yeah.
And is there an element of strength? I'm demonstrating as an audio podcast. As you go up on the pole, presumably there's an element of core strength and body strength that you need to hold yourself in place to go up, because you're actually upside down at some point.
Yeah. So there's the phases we talk about. There's a run up, the takeoff part, which is really a key part, because you need to transfer that energy of the running and the takeoff onto the pole. Yeah. Then once you've got your feet off the ground, then you're just holding onto the pole, and then there's a technique for which you keep the pole bent, and then you put yourself upside down, and then you again try to keep that position until you get projected over the bar. Yeah. So all these are the phases that we really work on, and each of one is very specific. Wow. Yeah. So the core, the arms, the shoulder strength, is all really important for that final part of after the takeoff. Yeah,
amazing. It's so specialised.
Very, very specialised.
That's brilliant. Okay, cool. So you were pole vaulting. Presumably you were skiing in your leisure time as well?
I was always skiing. I come from relatively close to the mountain.
Where are you from?
I'm from Varese, which is an hour north of Milan.
I've been there. It's lovely.
I've been there.
Yeah. Oh, you're not a rower then?
I'm not a rower.
Oh, there's like a big lake there, isn't it?
Yeah, loads of rowers.
Too small. Yeah.
And so yeah, but like I said, I skied during holidays, weekends, holidays with my family. We'd go away very often to the Dolomites, Vigo di Fassa, Selva di Val Gardena. That was a bit the thing. I'm cutting the story a little bit there, but then I went away. I went to university in the UK. Actually, I studied in Wales. Yeah, so I did graphic design over there.
Wow.
And whilst I was there, I was still pole vaulting. Actually, I trained a lot at UWIC, the Cardiff. They have a big centre over there.
Yeah.
Came back from that, pole vault for another 3 years in the Air Force, like I was saying. And then once I finished, I thought, right, what am I going to do now? I'm 23, don't know.
Yeah.
I've done all this sport, but I always had this passion for the mountains. And then did a couple of seasons, actually, working for British companies in Livigno and in La Plagne for Ingham's, the tour.
Yeah.
So that was my kind of liaise, my link to the British world already, university there, then working for a company. And that's how I then thought, okay, maybe ski instructor could be a thing.
Yeah.
Met someone who talked about BASI.
Okay.
Which sounded pretty good. At the beginning, I didn't even know that you had to do all these modules. I thought, okay, I'll do 1 week, I'll be a ski instructor. I didn't quite realize.
Yeah.
And loved it from the start. Had great trainers along the way, really good atmosphere in all the courses. And for me, it was just a good way of doing sport, staying in this international environment in the mountain with a very supportive. I always felt really supported. I think for me it was really the key. I think sometimes when you do a sport like that, like pole vault or ski in Italy, it can be a very coaching, quite hard sport. Whereas I felt basically it was a much more relaxed environment. So to me, it worked out really well.
Oh, okay, that's good. I think the Swiss environment is even more relaxed than the BASI environment. Yeah, I love it. But it's I suppose each system has its own thing. I imagine if we finally get round to interviewing a French person from the ESF, they'll probably say the same things, brotherhood or whatever, But
I think I was lucky with the trainers I had. The trainers I had were set up this really cool atmosphere. I'm still friends with them now.
Yeah.
So definitely that.
Okay. And so here's a question for you. When I did my original British level 1 and 2. I did them over a summer on a Warren Smith gap in Saas-Fee. I spent 9 weeks in the summer in Saas-Fee.
Wow.
Don't recommend it. It was, but no, the first 5 weeks fine, but then you start to you go a bit stir crazy in Saas-Fee. It's like the end of the world, and I thought, and I'm not sitting here trying to blow my own trumpet, right? This is not me saying, being big bollocks and saying I'm brilliant at skiing, but I realised in the first week or so that my level of recreational skiing, so what I was doing without having been largely self-taught, was probably going to be good enough for the level 1 and 2 already. Yeah. And I didn't know that going in. So the rest of the what would you call it, like 7 weeks that I was there was kind of polishing and teaching seemed to come fairly naturally to me. How was that for you? So when you were going for your sort of 1 and 2, what was your level of sort of general skiing like? That you'd built up over the years on all those family trips and stuff like that. What did you have to change a lot? I suppose is what I'm saying.
I had to change a lot. I always thought I wasn't very very good, because again I think when you do a sport like that and you're always competing, you always think, I need to do more. So I think my expectation was really high level, and even going through level 1 and 2, I was always a bit like, oh, it's going to be good enough.
Yeah.
I think the advantage I had was having done a sport before, having trained many years.
Yeah.
Physically, I was maybe a bit more. I understood my body a little bit better.
Yeah, for sure.
We
certainly how to control it, right?
Yeah,
in
how
space
to control
and time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I definitely. Yeah, I was. I look at some photos and videos of back in the days. I thought, oh my god. Yeah.
There's no escaping time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you weren't. So to get through those initial exams, the 1 and the 2, you didn't really have to. You didn't have to change much. Do you remember all this?
No, I remember. In the specific, I remember. I used to, and I still do, really like to put a ski on an edge, and just press down and feel the power coming out. That's my thing, I think.
Okay.
Although with age again, I had to tone it down. But I think for me, it was always the rotary skills. For me, was always the one that I had to work a lot more.
Yeah.
To get better at. For sure, the off-piste and the bumps was something that classic Italian I didn't really do much of.
Yeah.
So I had to work quite a bit afterward to do it. In my head anyway, I had to really work hard, and now I love it. It's probably the thing I love the most, actually. Bumps and off-piste.
Me too.
I mean, bumps is always this love-hate relationship, but
I sort of seek out bumps now. It's really odd.
Yeah.
Like I'm the same. I never used to like them, but I've got now. The other thing I'm really into, which I know is now going to be a thing for next year. You will have seen the skis on the top of the car. So I've put telemark binding on the top of a 27 meter radius GS ski.
Oh wow!
And it's awesome. I was skiing yesterday down a piste, the Didier Defargo run, for those who know it, in Morjan, and I just got like the right snow with the right ski and the right kind of thing, and I was like, this is what I want to do all the time. All the time. I found it like a thing.
Excellent.
So that's the next rabbit hole that I'm going down, is telemark skiing, because I love the feeling of it. What I don't like about alpine skiing is how it goes. It's mostly about performance. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all about. It's turned into with relatively short, like really curved edge skis.
Yeah.
A lot of it is about kind of power and performance these days, and angles.
Yeah.
And I feel within that there's a sort of a lost, how do you call it? Like a lost thing about like personal expression and individual style, and that's what really appeals to me with telemark, because there's no real way of doing it.
It's a bit more free.
Yeah, it is, and there's much more room for kind of, I don't know, like trying to blend how you move with the mountain.
Yeah.
So I sound like a right hippie, don't I? But it's like totally against like what I imagine when you turn up for like things like the BASI Trainers Conference and stuff. A lot of it is about performance and showing what you can do.
Yeah, yes and no. I think it's really interesting you asked this question, because I just came back from 3 days working in Italy with one of the, they've got this regional collegio where within the region they run their own instructor courses.
Yeah.
And a bunch of us were called in to help out with teaching the new Italian instructors how to deal with British clientele.
Oh, really?
It was an amazing experience. Fantastic.
No, that's right. Come on, then you've got to.
Yeah, sorry. So I'm going off on a tangent.
No, that's fine,
I'll bring it back.
That's fine.
But essentially, their system is very much about that. It's very much about precise movement, performance. So, I think picking up from what you said earlier, it could be seen a little bit of a tunnel vision. This is what we do, and this is what we teach, and that's where we go. The reality is not like that, but that's the base, the culture, and that's where they come from, having like big racing World Cup background.
Yeah.
So I think for us trainers going in there, we figured that out pretty quickly. Actually, made us realize with BASI we maybe we're not as strict in some of the technicalities of skiing, but we definitely try to give a slightly broader formation. We try to teach new instructors how to have a be more of a holistic view of skiing. So we do piste, we do off-piste, we do bumps, which I personally love. I think it's the core of what we do as well, right? And not just for us, but also for the clients. You know, clients, that's what they want. You want to have a set of skill that you can then share with your clients. So, but yeah, going back to the Italian thing, it was amazing, and we managed to share loads of ideas with these guys, and
cool.
Fantastic time. Really,
which
really
region is that?
Piemonte.
So forward thinking.
Unbelievable!
Yeah.
It's so forward thinking, and they've got a bunch of really good young trainers coming through the Italian system, and through connection with friends, they thought, why don't we do that this year? And we got pulled in, and
that's really
it was
cool,
it was really, really interesting.
Actually, so it's just like a big sort of ideas swap, or is it something that you're officially delivering as part of their formation?
Yeah, it was officially delivered as part of the formation. Yeah,
through BASI, or just like
no, it wasn't through BASI.
Yeah,
but they clearly used some of like me, Italian, but got experience with BASI. I don't know. You may know Simon Edwards, who is another half and half.
No, I don't know.
Dave Morris, again, he's got a bit of British, but he's got his wife is Italian. So all these people that kind of knew a little bit how the Italian system works, they could speak the language, and they could bring a bit of an experience of how British clientele works. So
that's cool.
No, I was really buzzing. I came back on Friday thinking, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah,
Our job is so cool.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
really good. Yeah. What a great opportunity.
Unbelievable opportunity. Really, makes you think how.
Yeah, it's funny where skiing takes you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, cool. And so let's take you back, because we're over here somewhere now.
Yeah.
So you got through. So you've done all the modules, all of those out of the way, and then so 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
We used to see each other on the piste because you were working with New Gen.
That's right.
And that obviously did what it did. It's no longer in Villars for whatever reason. And hang on, before we get to there, I wanted to say something else. Actually, I'm going to go back over here to this thing. One of the things that frustrates me a little bit about the Swiss snow sports stuff that they do for kids. I had this with some clients recently. So Max and Grant have been skiing all winter here on Saturday with you would have seen them with a bunch of little kids.
Yeah.
And they've also been doing some other stuff with the Red School, and the Red School is like, they've got this little book, so you can't become like a red king or whatever it is without having ticked off all of these little things that you've got to be able to do. It's so Swiss. You've got to be able to stamp all these boxes. And it's, one of the parents said to this, could we focus a little bit on this? I was like, yeah, we can, for sure. But my guys, I know what they're doing. I know how they teach, and they're trying to teach in a better way than that. Right? It's about saying to the kid, look, we're here in this situation. You might want to try this here because this will really, really help you. It's not like, can you do these things? Sure. And you spend your whole Saturday going, oh, no, you must be able to, ski switch, otherwise we don't get a tick in this box. I don't know how many kids are into kind of holistic learning, but I would imagine they'd have a better time, skiing about and discovering things for themselves and with the, guided kind of discovery way, rather than just going through a tick box exercise to get the next medal. Yeah. I don't know how many kids are motivated by that, but when you said that about the old, you might say the old Italian way, it's nice to hear someone that's kind of saying, no, maybe there's a different way that we can teach stuff, right? And we see the same thing here on the mountain. You see all the kids going through the things that they need to do to get their medal. It's like, well, couldn't we just go skiing and learn some stuff?
Yeah.
Isn't there another way?
Yeah.
Go and have some fun, make it good, as opposed to like you've got to jump over this bar.
Sure.
With respect to
no. I think you're spot on there. I have to say, I think with the Swiss, I work quite a bit now with Beau Soleil, and actually, I think they love everything about the mountain. Actually, to an extent more than us. Yeah. But then they have this kind of booklet, like you say, it's almost like, okay, but these things might help you or the kids to actually be better at those bits in the off-piste, on piste, and so on. So I see a lot of instructors using it.
Yeah.
But it's not like a dogma. It's not like a mantra they have to do all the time. So I don't mind it actually. I find it quite a useful tool. Yeah. If it's not obsessive.
Yeah. We'll come back to that because you must see it from the inside with the work with the school, right? Because you employ those guys and they come and teach your kids.
I don't employ them. It's someone else.
Sorry.
But
you personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you've done the formation with BASI. Have you explored any of the other national systems?
The Swiss. So I did back in the days. I did the international conversion.
Oh yeah.
I believe you've done as well.
Yeah.
So that's only 3 days.
Yeah.
And then just administration. I took the Italian, the French, simply to allow me to work there. But I've learned more in the last 3 days about Italian than in my entire life, to be honest. So yeah.
Apart from how to navigate the paperwork of the Italian equivalent. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. Oh, cool. Oh, that's brilliant. And so where were we? That got you here. You were here with New Gen. I know you were sort of zooming between here and Verbier, I think.
Yeah. So there's no secret about us closing in Villar, in New Gen. I think we had 5 really good years. We're a small school. We're like a work and train school.
Yeah.
So getting instructors level 2, level 3, working towards the level 3 and 4. And the point was to try and get them through the levels whilst they were working in high season. Then after 5 years, I wanted a bit of a change. New Gen, pushing other projects as well as this. So we just decided together. But I'm still really, really good friends with Ewan and Tom who runs New Gen, and I think it was a really good decision from both parts. There you go. That was a very diplomatic answer,
very
wasn't
diplomatic.
it?
In Villa, I don't think it's any secret, but they've got the biggest red ski school here in Switzerland, right? It's enormous. And it's quite hard, I think, to gain any traction here because it just, the red school is like this enormous sort of, Borg that just absorbs everything that comes its way. Yeah. We know that from some of our work here, but the you could see it. But actually, out of that program, we took Kurt on.
Of course you did, yeah. Great guy. Great guy.
Yeah. Kurt, if you're listening, he's back in Bend, Oregon now, so he's retired.
He still emails me occasionally.
I know, it's brilliant. He's having a great time, and he asked me for a reference. I sent him this reference to say, look, I sent the nicest. Well, I sent the best reference I've ever sent to this because it was like he was trying to get an instructor role with wherever this place is, Mount Bachelor, I think it is in Washington or something like that. He wanted to teach there, but they weren't hiring because of COVID or something. And I was like, I'll send something. I sent the best thing I could possibly send, and apparently they took him on. So I was like, yes,
great,
yeah, because he's like, he's one of life's proper good guys.
He loves it. He loves skiing.
He does, and we still have people asking for him.
Really?
I'm like, I haven't got Kurt this year, but would you consider someone else? It's such a shame, but proper, like safe pair of hands. It's like chuck anything.
Solid,
absolutely solid. So, are you? So, you're then. What happened after New Gen? So, where are you? How did you end up at the international school at Beau Soleil in Villars? Like, was there anything in between? How did you jump from one to the other?
Yeah, so when I became trainer, so 6-7 years ago now, and then whilst I was here in Villars, I used the BASI training status as well to kind of run courses here locally. Yeah, and I got in touch with the international schools. And we started running level 1 for the students and the staff. So that's how we started a bit the relationship with Beau Soleil. And so when I finished with New Gen, then I had a 1-year transition where I just worked independently. I still worked for New Gen, so I was helping out with their instructor courses program across the Alps. And still run a few independent courses for BASI here, level 1. For the staff and students, and then it was very, very random in a way. At the end of the summer, towards the end of the summer, stayed in touch with one of the guy, Beau Soleil Steve, who's great guy, and I sent him a SMS, say, hey, is there anything happening there? It was really kindly. We met up, discussed what the role would be, and that's how we started. So it was pretty quick transition. Yeah.
Okay. So let's fill in the detail of that for those who don't know the internet. So here in Switzerland, all over the Alps and all over Switzerland, there are many international schools where people come or send their kids to from all over the world to come. Now, as I understand, is Beau Soleil only boarding?
They also have people that live locally.
Okay, so there's day students. There are ones that are only boarding. Right?
Yes. I think there's mainly teachers, maybe kids that don't live in school. Yeah.
Okay. And so you work at Beau Soleil. Beau Soleil is based here in Villars. It's one of the oldest, most expensive international schools in Switzerland. I don't think it's the most expensive. I thought La Rose was the most expensive.
I don't know.
It's pretty close, as I understand. Somewhere. Yeah. There's a list. And so the kids come here. They're sort of slightly protected from the world because it's, you're up here on the side of a mountain. They have a great education. And in the winter, they ski all the time. Like, all the time. Well, from what I've seen, being up here. So, what does your role entail within the school?
Yeah.
You're here year round, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So you're doing sport in summer and skiing mainly in the winter. Would that be right?
Yeah, so I'm in the outdoor education department. Mm-hmm. So I'm not in the P department.
Okay.
But in autumn, the outdoor education is all about taking kids in the mountains and showing them how it works.
Yeah.
So the basic skills from navigation to using crampons and rope work. We had a really cool expedition in this autumn where we took every year group up either the Breithorn or the Alallenhorn or in Diablere, so 4,000 meters.
I saw those guys doing. I wonder what you were doing.
Yeah.
They looked pretty serious.
Oh, it was serious. I mean, you're taking kids who've hardly seen snow. Some of them, come from countries where they hardly seen snow.
Yeah.
And you take them up at 4,000 meters.
That's crazy.
And so it was 2 days. The first day we did a Via Ferrata, and the second day was up the 4,000 meters. I mean, I have a short story, but I had one of the kid. I believe he comes from Congo.
Right.
And we had a beautiful day in Sasfe. We managed to get to actually the top because clearly you don't always have the guarantee to get to the top. We had perfect conditions. We got to the top of Alallenhorn, which is, it's a pretty good
serious
challenge. It's serious. Yeah. And we got to the top and he called his sister on WhatsApp, and she could see from Congo. She was like screaming, "Oh my god, it's amazing!" And to me, that was a really good moment because I thought, what we do, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The experience they get.
We have that sometimes. So we didn't do it this year, but sometimes we have school groups that come from overseas, and one of the school groups that comes from Kenya, and once that they come a long way, Nairobi to Zurich on the thing on a coach for like 3 hours or whatever. They get out in Moja, and there's like snow on the floor. Wow, they're literally just diving in it. Like, unbelievable. Yeah, can you imagine never having seen snow? It's crazy.
Incredible.
It's absolutely crazy. And the level that those kids get to after just a week, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Really, really amazing. Like just skiing around, it's just so good. So good. Anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. Yeah. So, outdoor ed when you're not skiing.
Outdoor ed when I'm not skiing, then in winter, outdoor ed and the P department get together. Mm-hmm. And then I depend. So I've got a boss in the P department, and I become a ski instructor for the department, and we run. So the way it works is every day a different year group goes out skiing.
Yeah.
And normally we go out all morning. Then we have lunch at the top of the mountain, because Beau Soleil, they have a little chalet. It's not that little actually. They have a chalet on the slope, so they've got their own food up there, which actually works out really, really well for COVID
you don't
time.
lose any time, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a really good resource to have.
Yeah.
And so the minimum they would ski is 1 day per week, these kids. But then within that program, we've got the off-piste club, the racing team, and then just activities that are put on extra for the kids to just give them a multitude of experiences. And I was chatting the other day, I actually thought, wow, this winter is probably the winter where I've done the most crazy things I've ever done in 15 years of ski instructing. We went heli skiing to the Pindarola, we went ice climbing to Le Mans. I've been ski touring so many different places I've never been before, skied in loads of different resorts. We went snowshoe, we did cross country. So for a personal experience, amazing, but clearly for the kids as well, they've got all these activities that they can choose and do. So it's a brilliant, absolutely brilliant program.
And okay, so let's say, so I'm a new international student. I've just come to the school. I don't know how to ski. So presumably at the start of every winter, and I say winter because I saw you guys up in Diablo up in November because it was open.
That's
opened
right.
really early
That's
this year,
right.
didn't it? And so you guys were up there early as well with us. And presumably the ski program gets going at a certain point, but you've got then a real mix of abilities within even a year group, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how big's the school. Has you got that many?
It's 280. I think it fluctuates.
Okay.
A few more, a few less. I think maybe we even reached 300 at one point, but don't quote me on that. I think it's around that number. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so then within each year group, you've presumably got different levels. And you have to make an early season assessment of those levels, and then presumably the kids have like flexibility to go up and down groups according to if they suddenly get good or.
That's right. I think it's been a particular year, so I think, and it's my first year, so I can't compare it to before.
Yeah.
So I think the idea was to really try and go out as much as we could when we could, and take every opportunity to avoid being locked in. So as soon as we saw that the snow is good in Diablo, we've got a good day, let's organize and do it. And so clearly with the risk of bringing kids that maybe haven't skied before, but I think the advantage is that because there's quite a substantial number of staff that come along, you always have the ability to then say, right, that group can't quite ski down the first part of the Diablo, which is quite tricky, so you take those. So it's a continuous assessment, if you want, of what the level is. And that's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, are you doing that? Because I know you've got some exceptional, apart from your good self, exceptional skiers on your staff.
Yeah.
You've got like ex-FIS racers and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they're in PE or outdoor ed, but are you doing all of your ski teaching internally, or are you bringing in outside instructors to cope with the volume of kids that you have?
Yeah, we work together with the Red School, ESS. So there's a team which is always the same and has been the same for a number of years. There's the one or two that might change every year. Yeah. And they're amazing. There's such a good bunch of instructors. They're all fully qualified, so there's that guarantee as well of having someone that know what they're doing. They know the kids, they know how the school works. So it's really just appendix of the department, really, and it's solid. You can give them kids and without worrying. It's about, I would say, maybe half and half, 50% of stuff from the school and then 50% from ESS, roughly.
Okay. And so, all right, and then so within that half and half, you'll split it according to the level, and you've got presumably a bunch of, because I know that both you and some of the other schools up here, you attract some actual quite high level kids who can really, really do it. I mean, you guys brought some kids to race in a competition that we ran over at La Crozet, and one of your young guys beat the opener.
Oh yeah, I think I know it.
The opener he's also ex-FIS, right? So he can really ski.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was quite an eye opener, right, to the level of kids that you guys have got. So, do you have someone then within the program that looks only after those kids who are interested in racing?
Correct.
Presumably?
Yeah. So there's the standard programs
Mm-hmm.
that every year group take part of. It's like a part of PE, so it's a lesson, they have to do it.
Yeah.
But then clearly the kids want to develop and move on, can get into the racing team, and then they have additional training, so afternoons, weekends, and then they go off and do competitions like that. Yeah.
Okay, so the standard ski program is like each year group skis once a week.
Yeah.
For a full day.
Yeah, from 9 till 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a minimum, essentially, they would do.
Yeah. And then there's the race program.
Yeah.
So that is the same 9 to 12, but then there's supplemental stuff that goes on around that.
So so if you're in the race team, you still do the standard program first. So you still go off and do ski lesson like with everyone else. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you've got a different program in those mornings, if that makes sense. Yeah. So it's a completely different time that you go out and train. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but if you're in the race team, there's some sort of supplemental training that you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Later on in the day or something.
Exactly.
Presumably you can fit it in around your lessons.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they've been quite flexible this year. So, again, because I don't look after that, I don't know exactly the schedule. I think they used to go out every Wednesday afternoon and then every Saturday and Sunday. So that would be their how much they would add on top of the normal PE lesson. Yeah.
Okay. And then, obviously, this winter we haven't had any, but in previous winters, ever since I've been here, and it's been going on forever, all of the international schools race against each other. And I would imagine Beau Soleil, like some of the other schools here, who have got some really good level races, they also go off to other, big schools races across the Alps. We haven't had any of that this year, but presumably that will be part of their program as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
For those guys in the race team.
Absolutely. I think that was a bit of the difficulty, the challenge this year of training, but what do you train for? Because there's no competition, so keeping the motivation high and try to, essentially get kids involved, get students involved. So, but normally there's a lot of competitions and they travel, and that's all part of it, isn't it? So I'm sure we'll be back into that next year.
I hope so. I really hope so. Because they're the fun days, you go to places and different places.
Of course.
It's like you ski around the same slopes time after time and the same places, and it's nice to go to these places. I think we go with La Côte, and they, often we're in Gstaad, Son, and wherever the races are, we'll be off to. We wanted to attend a couple in Crans-Montana this year as well, which obviously didn't happen. But hopefully all of these will be back on the menu for next year. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Well, so in addition to that, you said there's a whole bunch of other things that could be part of their program. Presumably they can opt into a bunch of these things. So what else are you guys offering them?
So it's the weekend. The weekend is a big part.
Because they're boarding students, right? So they can't go anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And from what I hear in previous years, they had weekends where they could just go out and spend a bit of time by themselves, but clearly that can't happen this year. So there was a big push to try and every weekend having lots of activities organized for them. And there's been some amazing activities. Like I said earlier, we're in heli skiing, skiing different resorts. Clearly with the Magic Pass, there's that advantage. Hop on a bus, and you're in Ovrona, you're in Anzer, Saint-Luc. We went the other day. I've never skied there. Amazing resort.
Is it?
Yeah,
check that out.
Such a cool little resort.
Yeah.
So all of that is there. And then there's this transition with the outdoor education that also organizes expeditions in winter. all around activities like ski touring, snowshoeing, cross country, ice climbing. So not strictly skiing related, but still adding skills and activities for these kids that are amazing.
That's so good, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
so good. That's really good. And how do the kids respond? There's two parts to this. How do the kids respond to the ski program in general?
Yeah.
You know, like, the reason I ask this is because I've been hanging around this sort of international schools environment for a while, and there's different types of kids. You know, there's some that are sort of not very motivated, and there is a certain sort of subset of kids at international schools that sometimes it's quite difficult to get through to them.
Yeah.
In general, how is the ski program received by those kids?
Yeah, exactly as you described it. I think there's excitement around skiing. I think skiing is probably one of the easiest lesson to run. I would imagine, because you take them out and they're fun, and they can really have a good time with their friends. So I think generally speaking is perceived well. There's still that challenge in the morning. You meet them at 8, and you need to make sure that they've got all the equipment ready. So there's that time. But once they get into the loop, once they understand the routine, actually it gets a bit easier. There's definitely a sense that throughout the program, then they get a bit tired as well because they study a lot. They're in school, they can go out. So maybe the uptake on some of the activities we expected to be more than it actually been. So I think it's a challenge everywhere, isn't it? You try to motivate them and find things that they like, but they also get some educational out of it. So it's quite a fine balance, and to try and find what works and what doesn't. There's clearly always going to be kids that are more keen to do that kind of stuff, either for background they come from, or maybe nations they've already experienced that. Some of the nation where they, like we said earlier, they've never seen snow. Could be a challenge to keep pushing that, or vice versa, because it's something new, they actually keep going. So I think it's quite hard to generalize here. It's very case by case, and I think that's what the school is really good at. They keep trying to reassess and see who needs to do what, and what can we put up next weekend to maybe cater for kids that maybe want to do something a bit more mellow or maybe more challenging. It's constant.
I hope you're enjoying this interview with Ali. I really enjoyed speaking to him, and I think that comes out in the interview. And it was fascinating actually to hear about another sport, especially something as kind of unique as pole vaulting, like how you get into it and how the progression is. I can't even imagine doing that myself, but I guess there is a way of learning it, and for something so highly specialised. So I thought that was super interesting. I've had some correspondence again. This time Ed writes to me. Ed says, "Thanks for your podcast, very interesting. I'm 55, live in Anzère and ski a lot. I like particularly how you interview non-Brits such as Damien and Zermatt. Criticisms of the podcast is that it should really be called the Ski School Director / Owner podcast. There's a lot about how people trained and reached their present lofty position where the clients all seem to belong to a rarefied group of 40-degree off-pisters, mogul monsters, ultra-advanced slope monkeys. Perhaps all your clients are like that, but I doubt it. Also, skiing bumps has free-form jazz, ? Despite these reservations, I like the podcast and give it a top rating if I knew how. Thanks, Ed. Appreciate your correspondence, Ed. Thank you very much for taking the time to write. Thank you, everyone who takes the time to write. It's interesting to me that people will want to listen to this, to be honest with you, and that kind of ties into the point about who I interview and what kind of level that they are. So I'm interviewing people, just to clarify for those that haven't heard me say this on previous podcasts, but I'm interviewing people who I want to speak to. And to a certain extent, you, the audience, are just in for the ride. I mean, I choose to publish this, but I would be having these conversations even if I didn't choose to publish this. But I'm having those conversations with people because I want to learn. And I wanted to get to a place, I got myself to a place where there was no structure for learning new things. And to that end, actually, I'm putting in place something that we talked about on a previous podcast. So I'm going to be putting in place a general CPD thing in Zermatt in November with a couple of speakers that won't just be like one nation specific. So it'll be, I've got 2 speakers lined up, one Swiss and one is Irish, or demonstrators, I suppose. And we're going to talk about some like topics that you would never normally hear, I guess, in a normal kind of professional development or refresher or that kind of thing. So we're publishing the details of that soon enough. But the purpose really for these podcasts for me was to learn something from people who are better than me. And I just choose to record it and publish it. And that's what I'm doing. And therefore, it is important to me to interview these people, mogul experts, slope experts, off-piste experts, all of that kind of thing. And we aren't only interviewing full cert people. If you think back to Scott Plever and you think back to Richard Featherstone, those guys are not full cert. They're just doing something interesting. And for me, that's important. So that's the basis on who I interview, and hopefully we'll have a few more non-Brits as well in the next 2 podcasts, because that's definitely the people that I'm trying to get to. Skiing bumps as freeform jazz ? Well, that's how I think of it, and if you get something out of it, you do. You don't get. Right. So then. We're going to carry on with the interview with Ali. We're going to talk a little bit more about schools, and probably the last part of that is about how to motivate kids. I'm sure I've maybe told the story before that you're about to hear, but there's something in that I think that's particularly relevant to high-end international schools. And then we talk a little bit about Ali's personal skiing, what he's working on, and how he's transitioning as he sort of gets older, which I think is quite interesting. And then we have a final chat about his business, his tour operator business called Alpine Italy. So enjoy this second half, and I will catch you on the next episode, which will be episode 35. I've seen a couple of instances this. Yeah, I should say this because it's not. It is something that I've seen, and I think you shouldn't shy away from semi-controversial things. But I've seen this winter, and from my own experience with one of the football teams that I had a few years ago, back at one of the other schools. It's no secret to say that if you can afford to come to Beau Soleil or any of the other, in fact, any of the international schools here, because they're not cheap to come to, a lot of these kids come from extremely wealthy backgrounds, and they don't really want for anything at all. And one of the things I've found, so I don't have to look so apprehensive, I don't think this is this controversial. One of the things that I've found is, how do you motivate a kid who kind of wants for nothing, who when he finishes his education probably doesn't have to work for the rest of his life or her life, whatever. How do you get through to kids like that? And I had this exact example with an under-18s football team that I was running for one of the schools, and it was like, they would come to football and they would just kind of mess around, and we'd go to tournaments or something and get beaten because they didn't really care. And I was like, look guys, I totally understand I don't really understand your thing, but what is it that we can do together that's going to motivate you, right? How can we do something that's fun? Like, it's not fun to go to tournaments and get beaten all the time.
Yeah.
And the way that we ended up getting through to that football team was like, well, let's see if we can create an atmosphere within the team that sort of makes us a bit like I don't know what the Italian equivalent is, but the English equivalent would be like the old Wimbledon team from back in the day, and no one liked them. They don't care, and they turn up to tournaments and they're the bad guys, and they loved that. They absolutely revelled in that image. And funny enough, that was the thing that really like motivated them, and turned them on. And we had like a golden 2 years where we would go to all these tournaments and we would be like the bad guys, like the pirates or whatever, and they would they loved it. And they they revelled in that kind of sort of, how do you say, like sort of shithousery, like that being, semi-bad tackles and just pushing people around, stuff like that. And they loved that, even though most of these kids would never be in a situation where they would have to scrap for anything in their lives, but they really bought into that thing. I've seen it a little bit with sort of skiing sometimes as well. It's like, how do you reach that kid who's just got his iPod on or whatever? He doesn't care about anything. He doesn't have to care. Do you... I'm not going to ask you outright whether you ever see any of that, but it's definitely a thing amongst the international schools, and you've got to be quite clever psychologically, I think, about how you reach some of these kids, and how you motivate them.
Well, Dave, I think it's a great question. No, it's a great question. It's a great statement, because I think there's so many levels to that, and so many layers. I think I've definitely seen it. I've definitely seen it, and I think for someone, I've worked a lot with educational programs with instructors. So normally you get people that come, and what they want is that, and all you need to do is rock up and give them that, and the interest, the motivation comes from them. So for me, it was definitely a bit of a switch I had to do, and again, like an extra layer to put in of saying, well, okay, so I know this stuff, I know I can give you quite a bit, but sometimes you don't care about it. So how do we do that? I mean, I don't even know if it's because of rich. I think it's just kids in general. I have to say.
It could be,
But I don't really have an answer, to be honest. I think sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you're really on top of it because you really, okay, today I'm going to make a difference. Other time I lose because, I'm a bit tired. So it's definitely a good challenge, and it makes you really appreciate when you have those good days, because then, you've gone through. I think it's a bit what, touching upon what we were talking about earlier before the podcast, was this idea of, holistic approach of giving young adults a lot of different opportunities without going too much into depth, or just nail on one thing and bore them to death until they become really good at it. And definitely my background is more the latter, so I used to be told, do this, and I remember having terrible days and hating it. Whereas now the culture, the science says actually probably that was not the right way to do it. I think knowing that by doing lots of different things and by them experiencing, you're still giving them education that's still going to be helpful, even if they're not going to be ski instructors or skiers, but they go off and become CEO of big companies. That experience will actually help them to become better CEOs or whatever they do. In a way, it makes you think, okay, I'm making a difference here. It's definitely a big challenge. It's one of the biggest challenges I find actually in the school, for sure.
We'll come back to that point about specialisation, because I think it was a good chat we had, and it should go on here. But the other thing, I wonder if you see the same thing. I'm projecting a bit because I don't know whether this is a real thing or not, or whether you've done this or not. But presumably you were in Verbier, you're working for NewGen, so you must have had your fair share of experience with running a GAP program as well, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I imagine not all of the people. Is my generalisation of young people. Not all of the gappies who would have been on that course were going to take that ski instructor qualification and go on and carry on within the industry, right?
Yeah.
So presumably, that would be the same thing. How do you motivate those people to kind of get out of bed in the morning and not be hungover every single day? To come and learn something, I guess.
Yeah.
As part of their program.
Yeah, I think with the GAP course, you're absolutely right. Especially the GAP course level 1 and level 2 in some resorts, there's definitely kids that know they're not going to pursue that path and they're going to go off to uni, so the motivation is a bit lacking. I think the difference is that's what they're there for. That's the only thing they have to do in those months. And they have an exam which is a pass or fail at the end. So there's a bit that pending on their head. So even the one that are a bit more slacky, they always think, oh, but do I want to fail? So there's still that kind of motivation for them, and also is the time you spend with them. When you run a gap course, when I used to run gap course years in Nonda, I spent a lot of time. You have so much contact with those people that you can really make a difference. I think they, when you can transfer that passion, they feed off, don't they? So eventually they also get on board. Whereas I think with a school environment, it's a bit more limited, the amount of time you have with each individual student.
Yeah,
sometimes
you're seeing them once a week, right?
You see them once a week, and there's a lot of students you see, and sometimes especially with the younger one, there's a lot of group management more than actually transfer skills.
Yes.
So I think it's the time you spend. And actually, talking about the time, I can see a big difference between when I started, when I didn't know any kids, and now the end of last term, when now I recognize them, they know who I am. You laugh in the corridor, and then you start to establish a relationship, and that helps massively. So, a tip for me going back is like try to get them to know them as quick as you can, because then you're gonna have an impact as quick as you can.
It's fine. Yeah, you're right actually, because I've spent a long time at one of the international schools down by the lake, and I've now got kids that I've known for a decade. I've seen them grow up, and they're leaving, they're going to university, and I'm like, well, one, where did that time go? But secondly, it's amazing, like it's quite emotional to see them grow up and become like actually really nice people. Wow, like I knew you when you were 7, like, and you're a man now almost, and you're about to head off to university, and you've turned into a really, really nice kid, nice adult, in fact, and that's really, really rewarding, and part of that I think will come to you as you stay there longer and longer and longer, right? You'll get to know them, the ones that stay that aren't 3 or 4 years in one place. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really, really cool, and then you do come to the places where you can transmit those kind of magical moments, like where you give someone a bit of advice that will stay with them forever. That does happen occasionally, and they'll be like, you won't know you've said it necessarily, but it might stay with them forever. You do it's so nice to see those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's good. But that does. We should touch on that thing that we were talking about earlier about early specialisation in sport, because the book that you said that you'd read was something called Range by David Epstein.
I haven't read it actually. Okay. No, I haven't read it yet.
You're starting it?
No, I haven't even started. Okay. But it just came into this conversation I had yesterday with a person, and it was which made me think about our interview today, because I thought that really relates a bit to education and kids. So is this idea, there was a previous book which is called Outliers, which is the one, the story of success, and the famous statement of 10,000 hours, which I've always really believed in that. I think it was always something, you definitely need to do that. But now it seems that it's different now, or at least for some sports. And this book Range, which I will read and then I'll tell you about.
Yeah, okay.
It's actually it's why generalists triumph in a specialized world.
Yes.
So is this idea like do loads of different things as a kid or pre-teenage years, and that will then help you when you specialize to have a much broader set of skills to become really good at something. And one statement, actually, I was looking at this interview between the two guys debating the different views on it. One of the things actually made me think is when you are playing tennis. He made the example of Roger Federer. So Roger Federer, as a kid, did loads of different sports, not very well, apparently.
Yeah.
And I was telling you earlier, he wanted to play tennis, but apparently his mum said, "Oh no, just go skiing today."
Rubbish.
Which made me laugh.
Yeah.
But I say, if you specialize too young, you play tennis like an adult would do, it's actually a different sport when you're an adult. So there's no point in specializing too soon, because actually to win a game when you're older is a completely different game. So you're actually becoming really good at something that is not going to be the same when you're older.
Oh, really?
So I thought, I reacted exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. It was making the example of, to win when you're a teenager is more about the person that doesn't make a foul wins the points, whereas when you're a pro, I don't play tennis, so I've got no idea. Yeah. But when you're a pro, it's about you attacking and wanting to make the point. So that was an example of how the tactic of the game changes. So it's the risk of specializing is that you become focused on something that actually is not going to be the same later on. Anyway, now I'm thinking I'm going something too technical, which I've got absolutely no knowledge about. But I think...
Well, I tell you the reason why I think this is really interesting. And you will have seen it with all the ski club kids up in Villars, and it happens all over the Alps. And it happens with non-alpine sport. Is that here in Switzerland, they do kind of de facto push kids into that kind of specialisation early. Because if you join a football club, say, you have 3 trainings a week from a certain age and a match on Saturday. And there's no time for having a broad spread of sports because all of the clubs demand so much of you. The ski clubs do it as well, right? You train Saturday, Wednesday afternoon.
That's right.
Maybe you train Sunday as well. And you're up there all the time, and when you're not doing that, when you reach kind of 12, 13, 14, you're in the gym as well. And they don't allow you to have that broad spread of things to do, otherwise something's got to give, right? It's either your schoolwork or one of the sports. You end up really, they filter you into something here.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you've seen that, or indeed whether it was the same when you were growing up.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm no expert in the subject, so I'm probably someone listening thinking, "Oh my god, what is he saying?" But I think even within the sport, you can be specializing or being a bit more general. The example we were making earlier: if you only do giant slalom and that's all you do, without deviating and do a bit of bumps one day, a bit of powder when the powder is good, that is focusing on probably just one set of skill. Whereas if you're still skiing but you're doing lots of different things. That's developing a skill. So within a sport, I think you can have that broadness of that experiences. I think for me as a kid, I played loads of different sports, but then as soon as I started with athletics, pole vault, that's all I did.
What age was that?
I started at 14.
14?
Yeah, 14 years old. Yeah, and definitely my coach at the time was a big believer of that methodology. Also because pole vault is a bit of, the big pole vaults at the time were the Russians. Okay. And they brought that culture in. Very much about repetition. Which, can be tiring mentally for young people. I
think we were slightly talking about this too, weren't we? We talked about my daughter, weren't we? And like skiing, and as a parent, not trying to push. My personal belief, this is not, not all parents are built the same, but my personal belief, I've been around kids for a long time now, but my personal belief is that it's got, whatever it is that your kid does, has to come from within the kid. Same thing that we were talking about motivating, I guess, students at your school, right?
Yeah.
That you can't put your hopes and wishes and dreams onto them. I don't think that's fair. I believe really parenting is about, and maybe it's the same philosophy if you're working in an international school, it's just about providing the opportunity for kids to try stuff. It seems to be a little bit about, it seems to be what you guys are doing. And then eventually a kid may or may not hit upon something that really speaks to them. And then after that,
it's up to them to kind of take it on, isn't it?
Absolutely, but I do believe though the responsibility. There's definitely a responsibility in the teacher or us, because if we have that good day where we're really inspiring, then that might trigger something.
Yes.
So I don't think that if if you just let them do and don't have any effect, something's gonna happen. I think the reality is if you don't have an input, then they might just go back and be on the phone.
The phone. Bananas. The phone. Cool. Let us segue slightly away from our philosophy to do with kids. So I sprung this on you because I haven't mentioned it in the thing that we can talk about. But in your, you said to me earlier, because I found it quite interesting that when you were younger, you were all about putting a ski on an edge and slamming it into the ground and being powerful and stuff. Like how, as you have got older, you're not that old, but like how's your skiing changed, or what are you thinking about? Are you thinking about anything now that you're sort of moving away from power and edge angles? Are you? I don't know. Tell me.
No, for sure. I mean, I'm trying very hard to try and be a bit more technical about my skiing. So I'm definitely trying hard to keep on my skiing by being a bit more refined in some of the movements. Sometimes when you're younger, a bit stronger, you can get away by doing some hard movement and still looks good and still efficient and still works. Whereas I think like naturally, it's not that I'm old, but when you get older, you definitely lose a little bit of that bravery as well. So you want to make sure that everything works a bit better underneath your feet. And I'm a bit obsessive in that sense. I think again it comes probably back from my background as training. I really like to understand the movement. I really like to repeat it and every day. It's a bit of a curse when you go out and you can't enjoy skiing because you always think, where am I? Am I on my heel? Am I in the middle? I'm sure you've got to say.
Drives me bananas. It's like that inner voice in your head. It's just awful. Every turn you're like, oh, that was a good one. Oh, that was a bad one. Oh, you could have done that better. Shut up. What are you talking then in terms of precision of movement? So you give me an example of something that you're working to be more precise on.
Well, I'm like I said earlier, my constant battle with bumps or even short turns. I really like long turns. I think that's what comes quite naturally to me. Don't know. It just seems that movement is I can do it and it works most of the time. Yeah. Whereas short turns is something I go out and like, right, okay, let's think about this. So, and you try different things, don't you? There's a moment where you see something, you read something, and you think, okay, let's try that movement. Then it works for a while on certain type of snow, with certain type of ski, with a certain type of steepness, and then it doesn't work anymore. So you're like, okay, let's start again with a different type of movement. We are going too much into specific, but that's definitely something I keep trying. And I love also going out with friends and people I know and trust and say, can you have a look at me? What do you think of this? And come up with something to work on. No, I still love that. I still really, really would like to ski well and try really hard.
Did you say to me earlier that you're more now interested in bumps and off-piste skiing than maybe piste performance stuff? Are you heading in that direction?
I really like both. But I think a powder is unbeatable, isn't it?
Get it right. The right day.
The right
people.
It's absolutely amazing. So I really like the variety of movements, the randomness of some of the movements, and I've definitely changed in the years. I used to only love hard pack and carving as hard as you can. Yeah. Whereas maybe I'm going towards that holistic thing. I don't know, but I really like to enjoy a bit of everything. I had an amazing powder day the other day with a friend of mine in Champillac,
All right.
One of the best.
Oh, Champillac. Yeah. It's beautiful up there. I haven't skied it, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, little secret spot.
Yeah. That's
one chairlift.
Yeah.
Tree skiing. Fantastic day.
Yeah, don't tell anyone about that, please.
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What's your go-to ski for an off-piste day?
Around here, what place?
Well, yeah, it's tough to have big fat Alaska skis around here, isn't it? We're too low, really. To kind of, I don't know. I'm curious to know, because I asked a couple of people this question, and I don't get on at all with like really mega fat skis. So I just bought, as my general ski instructor ski, I just bought one that's like 74mm underfoot, and for me it feels massive.
Does it?
Yeah. I'm like, wow, these are like boats, like
I could go off piste on these. But like, what do you ski when you go on a
what type of
powder day?
ski?
Yeah, what's your?
I've got a massive one, which is a full called 2 skis. It's called, and it's 196
wow
length, and it's 120 underfoot.
So that's huge. Like a water ski.
It's huge. It's massive. And I only take it out maybe once or twice a year. But this year, the latest dump we've had in March.
That was ridiculous.
I've used it 3 days in a row, and it was spectacular.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And it's kind of got this double rocker, so the actual ski that touches the ground is not very.
Yeah, it's like a snowblade.
Yeah.
So it's pretty agile, even in the forest, in the trees, and cool. Really enjoy that one. Also got more like a ski touring setup. But it's a head core 99 underfoot, 180 length.
Yeah.
So something a little bit shorter, really nice. In more like unprepared piece of in crudted and kind of variable terrain.
Yeah.
Really like that one as well.
So a lot of people ski that ski.
It's
really
core.
Popular. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've ordered one for next year, the 80 something, 89 maybe. That will do me, like as a, for the Port de Soleil.
Yeah,
it's never that deep.
You don't need anything bigger than that. Well, I don't anyway for what I do. But that's cool. That's really cool.
So, lastly, then, tell me about your business, Alpine Italy. What are you doing with that?
So Alpine Italy, we started it 9 years ago.
Okay.
And it's we take British clients skiing. We started in the Dolomites.
Yeah.
And the objective was, let's just have a really chilled, fun week where we show British client what Italy's about.
Okay.
So no teaching.
Yeah.
Just guiding. Have really nice lunch, bit of wine.
Oh, it sounds brilliant. Where can I sign up?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how we started. So it was me and Dave Morris.
Yeah.
He's got an Italian wife.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm Italian, so I've got that link. And we said, let's just go to Dolomites. We both love the area. So we started based in Colfosco, which is between Corvara and Selva di Val Gardena, around the Sella Ronda. Don't know if you've ever skied around that area.
No, it's on the list.
It's a beautiful, huge area. And that's where we started. So we used this hotel, and now we know we've used for 9 years, and we've had people coming back year after year after year. It just grew from there, It just grew, a word of mouth. So from there, we started to run weeks also in Cervinia. With the same.
My favourite.
Do you like that?
It's my favourite.
Yeah.
Like everything is perfect in Cervinia for me. Like, there's something about Cervinia, about the steepness of the pistes. It's just, like you can carve literally everywhere, can't you?
Absolutely.
And it's just epic. It's so big.
Those little orange trees. It's my favourite place on earth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
it's so good.
I love it too, and it's.
Sorry, go on, carry on.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry, But yeah, so we just added a few destinations from there. We started to go to Courmayeur, Pila, Champollion. So we did a few more weeks. But that the ethos, if you like, the idea behind it always that, let's try and show people what Italy's about and what the skiing in Italy is about. Then we kind of veered towards also a bit more like training weeks, because lots of people were asking that, especially in pre-season. So November we go to Cervinia as well, running camps.
Oh, cool.
For people who just want to develop skills. And that's it. So it kind of organically grew. It's not big, it's a tiny business. Clearly we had a stop last winter, but we're planning to started again.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, next winter.
Wow. How are you going to fit all that in with your...
With Beau Soleil?
Yeah.
Well, I probably won't be going on to these trips.
You won't be doing all of them?
No, we won't be. But we work with instructors that we worked for many years. Maybe during the holidays I can hop on one or two if I can. So we'll see.
Wow. That sounds awesome. It's like the best of...
Come along, David.
Yeah, I will. You'll get yourself another client. That's awesome. Okay, so we'll finish off. Give yourself a plug. Like, how can people find you or Alpine Italy? Like, how do if people want to get in touch with you, how can they do so?
Thanks for that. Yeah, well, Alpine Italy is we've got a website, so alpineitaly.co.uk.
Okay.
You can look at all the information there. We're about to update our new trips, so you'll see the trips for next winter, and
Awesome.
there's all email address and so on and so forth over there. So yeah, if you want to get in touch, please do.
We'll do. It's awesome. If you've got room for like a slow crap telemark skier.
I doubt it.
I'll be there. Cool. Well, look, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Dave.
It's lovely to chat with you. I could chat with you for hours. We'll come and do it. We're going to do another one.
Lovely
Sure.
chat. Thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you.